Watching. Today I'm working more on my stock market model and I've got to fix some data. So here's where I got on the first iteration of the model. Basically I got something to work, but there's way too much, the code base sucks, so there's way too many scripts, and every time I want to change a universe strategy or change a portfolio strategy or change how I train the model, I've got to make a new file, which results in a huge number of files. So now I'm organizing everything into classes for a clean method. Here I got some variables to work. And here I got a bunch more variables to work. And I tried to test it on all data, but if you zoom in, you can see there's a huge drop in the data, which shouldn't be happening. And that's because I'm not accounting for splits in this data. I wrote code for accounting for stock splits, but I am using an older version of the data, so this was before I accounted for stock splits. And you see here I'm confirming it. So this is the fixed data down here once I'm accounting for the stock split. And this is the not fixed data where we get a big drop. This is on Tesla stock. And you see that what I'm using has this big drop here, so it's not fixed. Last stream I started fixing it, but I obviously got something that is really wrong. And so now I'm trying to fix this data. What I don't really understand is, let me pull up the data, the code, stock market tool. Yeah, so basically what I'm testing here, if we go up, this is where I got the splits to work. And this is using, well, I could just show this. So this is what? 119.20. So I have this written into a test somewhere in tests. Where is that? See all these files. It's way too much. Tests. QRS. Oh, here we go. Get OHLC view split. Yeah, test batch stock split. So if I go to test batch stock split, or yeah, I'll just test stock split. It'll be simpler. It's just one. And look at what this does. So test stock split. I'm doing data reader. I specify the stocks I want, and then go for each stock. Get the data. Okay, and so it's calling this function get all data. And so if you go here to dolt reader, get all data. Where the hell is that? Oh, here. So first I say it doesn't have the data, then get earnings data, calculate earnings variables, get stock data. Yeah, so, and then I think it's called in get stock data. So now if we go to get stock data, down here, if we want to account for splits, make that true. So it's doing this adjust for splits function. Yeah. So now if I run this, it should show the that it's working once we split it. Database, oh gosh. Yeah, so I have this database problem, so it's not working. But basically this is the oh yeah, this here is the output from test batch stock splits, and so it's working. But then when I run this, adjust for splits, we get the data, specify the data, and then adjust it for splits. So something's not working here. What might be happening, this might work only on a single stock. I'm gonna feed this to Google AI and see what it says. Okay, so I have data, stock data, for which I need to account for splits. When I run my script to do this, I get the wrong output. First screenshot. I'm using the adjustment in the data reader class from dolt reader.py. When I run the test for adjusting for splits in tests.py, it looks correct. Second screenshot. What is the issue? Okay, so first screenshot. This guy. Second screenshot is this. No, damn it, no. Oh. Okay. I have stock data for which I need to adjust for the stock splits. The script I wrote to do this does not work and gives the output in the first screenshot. However, when I run, it utilizes the data reader class in dolt reader.py. However, when I run the test for splitting stock data in test for adjusting for stock splits, it works. Second screenshot. What is the issue? Okay, so first screenshot. No, that's the second screenshot. First screenshot. Second screenshot. And here are the files. Market research. Where's market research? What the hell? Oh, stock market tool. Alright, so we want to give it tests. Just for splits and don't reader. So this is going to be a lot of tokens. And run. So let's see what it says. I'm going to put some music on. Oh. Alright. Let's do that. Adjust for splits. Batch. Let me put a comment in the chat saying subscribe. No, nothing's happening here. Let's see, I'll wait a little bit in case it's just running. I don't get what is going on here. Is it still running? Oh, I think I need to pass the tickers in. So in adult reader, adjust for splits. Adjust for splits, match, self. Okay, so where do I pass in? Let me see where I test this. Test batch split. Get batch stock data. Stocks list equals stocks. Oh, here we go. Get batch stock data. Okay, what's the cause of this error? This is going to take a while. Since everything here is going to take a while, I'm going to work more on what research should I work on? I ran worse stuff. In another life, I would be your girl. We keep all our promises, be us against the world. Oh, I could look more at Bitcoin. Alright, so 2/13/2026 update. Previously, I compared the trough to the previous all-time high. What if I compare the trough to the all-time high from 2 cycles ago? What if I compare the trough to the most recent peak? So peak year, we have the minimum. I don't wanna be another one. $917,000. 65,000. Cycle 4 we don't know. So that looks like it's a distribution in a range. So we could say best case scenario 0.3, worst case scenario 0.2. So the worst case scenario would be 1/5 of the previous all-time high, which would be like 24K. Best case scenario would be 1/3, should be like 45K. If it bottomed out at 60, that would be kind of crazy. Alright, and then adjust for splits batch. So in this for loop, try this, and if it works, print split date, split ticker. Split date, split ticker accounted for. Then I could have some way of tracking the progress, otherwise I'm just lost. Is it getting stuck or is it running? Good. So we're in 2014. Oh, I need something to work on. Yeah, it says no one's tuned in, but that's not always perfectly accurate. So if someone's watching, tell me what I should work on. I can look at the AI bubble. I can look at my Bitcoin idea. I can look at the US-Iran conflict. Where's yeah, no good for me. Did I delete my AI stuff? I think I did. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. My Red Bull's already out. So it's up to 2017. Guess I'll pull up the US-Iran war stuff. That's kind of interesting. And yeah, this is all from January. We basically found out that there's no contradictions. I mean, the war seems like it's obviously because it just became not so interesting because with the Epstein thing, it became obvious that Trump is controlled by some, whatever the interests are, they're in favor of Israel. So, this isn't that interesting. Roller coaster can't get off this ride. What's really interesting is predictions for what will happen. Alright, so scenario 1. Scenario 2. is Israel controls U.S. foreign policy. Scenario 3. Leverage, yeah, that's so. Are there any other scenarios? U.S. is just really interested in democracy. Okay, so if it's 1, we could assume if confident in a quick win, because if it's not a quick win, U.S. will go to war. If it's not a quick win, we won't do it. If it is a quick win, we will do it because it'll put us in better standing. However, if Israel controls U.S. foreign policy, U.S. will go to war regardless of the cost, because it's in Israel's interest for us to go to war. So the real test between these, if these hypotheses are correct, the U.S. will initiate a conflict with Iran. If not, if the U.S. we need to reevaluate otherwise. If scenario 1 is correct, the strikes will be limited and will not continue if they don't work quickly. If scenario 2 is correct, the problem is there's no supports. So who are the players in this game? Iran, Israel, other powers like China and Russia could have an influence. Other top powers, and then we can say regional powers like the UAE, Saudi Arabia. Those are the big players, right? What are the Gulf countries? Let's look at the output here still. But I'm already here. Most influential Turkey. Okay. Players and their motivations. what are we up to? Still in 2023, almost to 24, and then we'll have 2 years left. Okay, so the US motivation is to basically regain traction as hegemon at the very least, if above is not possible. Regain traction as hegemon, or at least gain power and influence. Iran's motivation is to maintain independence, the government of Iran wants to maintain power and independence. This is not about gaining influence in a region in face of existential threat. Israel's motivation is get US to attack Iran to dominate Middle East. You could say, oh, their motivation is just to be safe from Iran, but I don't really buy that. Other top powers, China and Russia, position to gain power from US decline. And other regional powers, their interests are gain power in Middle East and also to prevent Western intervention, because Saudi Arabia has a big beef with Iran. They want to beat Iran. I don't know about UAE and Turkey's relationship with Iran. Saudi Arabia has a well-known rivalry with Iran. What are the relationships of the UAE and Turkey to Iran? Good, we're into 2025. Now, something I think is wrong with the stock split data. Let's see if, because there's so many more stock splits in recent years. Let's see if he says anything about it. Post no preference. Rates, options, stocks, so splits. Whoa, what is that? One recent pull request. I don't know. So in I need to determine how good this data is. But I could just start on recent stuff. Keep forgetting that's out. Hey, if you're watching, comment what you want to see me work on while this data is loading. Right now I'm looking at the US-Iran war. And now I'm looking at what are the motivations of the different players. Geopolitical rivals, but partners in economics. I thought the UAE and Saudi Arabia were fighting in Yemen. Do they support the same side? Yemen, UAE, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. I didn't know that Saudi Arabia established. They're winning? Okay. That still looks really bad. Alright, so we can say regional powers want to gain power in Middle East. But they're all kind of fighting each other to gain power in the Middle East. I think that's basically the sum of their position. Conclusion. Regional powers do not want to see Western intervention, but also wouldn't mind Iran falling and would like to take advantage in that event. What? Apple 2020. Oh. Yeah. So, I want to do Apple, not that. So we can say put something up here for split. Perform adjustment is equal to false. And then we have all this stuff. If perform adjustment is equal to true. So if we want to do that, do this stuff. Else OHLCV is equal to pd.read feather, get that guy. Okay, now here we want to say Apple. Change everywhere it's OHLCV to Apple. And then here, I want to Apple. And then same thing here. Okay, then let's see how this works. Good. So now we've accounted for the splits. This wasn't yesterday, but the day before. So 211. $212. Got it to work. Okay, so now we have splits in the data, so I can say now, go back to this script, clean tests, and then instead of doing it on OHLCV, do it on all OHLCV with splits. Okay, now let's see how the features look. No, don't want to do that. Clean tests. Okay, it's running. Okay, so let's see which ones look good. Log return, that looks good. Let's see. Five-day feature. So that's the 5-day lagging log return. Beta, what is that? Beta 20. It's in, so clean test feature engine, beta. So how do I check if these are correct? Obviously that's correct. That looks good. That's good. Alright, so let's add these to the features that I have. Okay, so we have, let's make this smaller. SMA, EMA we already have. Bollinger Band we already have. Slope, no. Log returns and volatility we have. Lag returns, volatility. Do we have ATR? I think ATR is in here. Yep. Beta is not working correctly, but that's okay. Oh, I forgot another thing. Now that this data is working, the splits aren't accounted for. So I'm going to do Now that the splits are accounted for, we could go to get data v4. Start year, let's just do 2019. End year, we could do 2026. Start month 1, then month 1. I think it's going to get all data for 2025 either way, but just in case, I'll do that. All OHLCB with splits. Now I want to see, does this improve the LGBM at all? Before, the best I could get was 51.5. So let's do Python 3 get data v4.py. Good. And it's working with the update. So I don't know where to go from here. US and Israel interests are intertwined. US and Israel both want to attack Iran. Alright. So scenarios that result in no attack on Iran. Oh yeah, I was gonna put in the rest of the variables we have. Beta we have, but it's not working. Stochastic oscillator. We have, where's that? Yep, right here. ADX. We have beta doesn't work. RSI we have, I think. Relative volume. VWAP, what's that? Sharp ratio, residual return. Alright, where's get data v4 at? Good, it's done. Now, this saved everything into, oh, it's test training universe. Okay, so we'll train on that. So now LGBM v5. train test split. Where do I do that? Cut off. Good. Okay, so do we get above 51.5% is the question. Because before it was discarding everything which had over a 50% drop. And since I wasn't accounting for stock splits, that means it was discarding everything that had gone through a stock split. That improved it just barely. Now if I go to the portfolio picker, portfolio strategy, what did I call that? Picker? Portfolio picks. V3. V5. Dot text. Good. So now we could just do portfolio picks V3. Whoa. Okay. So much for that improving things. But back to the feature engine. Beta's not really working. Okay, so I have these. I need to implement the rest. Oh, I forgot. I'm way behind schedule. What was the initial schedule? February 11th. I was going to have this done 3 days ago, so I'm not close to that. Yeah, tomorrow I'll work more on implementing all of these, and we'll see where we get. Hopefully we could finish up this class pretty soon. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Adios. What was the initial schedule? February 11th. I was going to have this done 3 days ago, so I'm not close